The Imitation of Christ by Thomas A. Kempis. Book 2, Chapter 2. On Humble Submission. Do not be concerned about who is on your side or who is against you. Just be sure that God is with you. If your conscience is clear, be sure that He will defend you. The malice of others can never harm you as long as He is by your side. Be silent and endure for a while, and you will experience the help of God in your need. No doubt about it, for God knows when and how to deliver you. So put yourself in His care. It is up to God to help and to deliver from all dilemma. However, we should realize that often it is good for others to know our defects and call us to order for them, for it keeps us humble. When you admit your faults, you easily pacify others and reconcile yourself with those you have offended. God never refuses the humble. Rather, He delivers and comforts them and fills them with His grace. He also opens to them the secrets of His heart and draws them to Himself, raising them to the heights of glory because of their humility. Humble people are always at peace, even when they are put to shame, because they trust in God and not in the world. So if you wish to reach the heights of perfection, never think of yourself as being virtuous until you know sincerely in your heart that you are the least of all. Chapter 3. The Peaceful Person. You must first have peace in your own soul before you can make peace between other people. Peaceable people accomplish more good than learned people do. Those who are passionate often can turn good into evil and readily believe the worst. But those who are honest and peaceful turn all things to good and are suspicious of no one. The discontented are easily troubled. They never know a quiet moment, nor will they leave others at rest. Many times they say the wrong thing and miss the chance of doing good. They are great for saying what others should do, but neglect their own duties. Begin by looking to your soul, and then you will be better able to have zeal for your neighbor. You are always ready and able to excuse yourself, putting the best possible construction on your own actions, but you refuse to listen to the excuses of others. The charitable way is to accuse yourself and to excuse your neighbor. If you want others to bear with you, then you must bear with them. Look at yourself and see how far you are from real charity and humility, which cannot be resentful against anyone but oneself. It is no test of virtue to be on good terms with easygoing people, for they are always well liked. And of course, all of us want to live in peace and prefer those who agree with us. But the real test of virtue and deserving of praise is to live at peace with the perverse or the aggressive and those who contradict us, for this needs a great grace. There are some contented people who can live peaceably with others, and some there are who can neither have peace themselves nor leave others in peace. They are a cross to others, but a heavier cross to themselves. There are also some who remain at peace themselves and seek to establish peace among others. However, in this mortal life, our peace consists in the humble bearing of suffering and contradictions, not in being free of them, for we cannot live in this world without adversity. Those who can best suffer will enjoy the most peace, for such persons are masters of themselves, lords of the world, with Christ for their friend and heaven as their reward. Chapter 4 on Purity of Mind and a Simple Intention. We are lifted up above earthly things by two wings, simplicity and purity. Simplicity regulates the intentions and purity the affections. Simplicity looks to God, and purity finds Him and savors Him. No good work will hinder you if your heart is free from inordinate affections. On the contrary, you will grow in the way of perfection. If your main object is the will of God and the good of your neighbor, you will have great interior freedom. If your heart is straight with God, then every creature will be a mirror of life and a book of heavenly teaching. There is no creature so insignificant and small which does not reflect the goodness of God. If you had a heart that was good and pure, you would see all things clearly and understand them well. A clean heart penetrates both heaven and hell. As people are inwardly, so do they judge outward things. If there is any true joy in the world, only the person with a clean conscience possesses it. And wherever there is misery and affliction, the evil conscience experiences it best. Iron cast into the fire loses its rust and becomes clean and bright. And those who make God the center of their lives are cleansed of slothfulness and are changed into new persons. The moment you begin to grow lukewarm, everything is a big effort, and you willingly receive distractions from without. But as soon as you begin to conquer yourself and walk uprightly in the way of God, then the effort expended seems little which before you thought was insurmountable. Chapter 5 on Knowing Yourself. We cannot count on ourselves much, for often, through lack of grace and understanding, our judgment is a limited one, and we soon lose what we have thought through our own neglect. Often we are unaware of our own interior blindness. Many times we do evil, and what is far worse, we justify it. Sometimes our passions rule us and we mistake it for zeal. We are critical of the small defects in our neighbors, but overlook the serious faults in ourselves. We are quick to complain of what we put up with from others, with never a thought of what others suffer from us. If we would see ourselves as we really are, we would not find cause to judge others severely. Those who are turned to God consider the care of themselves before all other cares, and looking seriously to themselves, they find it easy to be silent about the deeds of others. You will never be an interior person and follower of Christ unless you learn not to meddle in the affairs of others and to look to your own. If you are concerned wholly with God and yourself, you will be unconcerned with what goes on around you. Where are you when you are not recollected? And what you have been busy with other people's affairs, what have you to show for it if you have neglected yourself? If therefore you wish to have peace in your soul and be united to God, set aside all else and focus the eye of your soul on your own deeds. If you want to advance spiritually, keep yourself free from temporal anxieties. You will only lose ground if you set any value on material things. Consider nothing great, nothing acceptable to you, unless it be God Himself or of God. Whatever comfort you derive from any creature counts as nothing. Those who love God and their own soul for the love of God despise all else, for only the infinite and eternal God can fill our every need and desire, the solace of our soul, and the true joy of our heart.